Hello everybody and welcome to my video today here on my YouTube channel or on my website. We're going to dive in and do a memory keeping project. I'm doing a page on the back of my June calendar page. So last week I shared with you where my June album was, and I was going to do something else today, but I was just working through this project and I just felt like doing this page and I thought I would share with you. I'm going to use the back of that calendar page, so I'm going to be working with the polka dot paper, and then I have this camera paper and then another piece. It's right off to the edge there. It's that jade color paper, like that teal color. And these two pieces of pattern paper are actually from Becky Higgins. A long time ago, she used to create core kits, and then she would do a set of pattern paper that coordinated with that core kit. I wish that that's how she still did it, or I wish there was a company that still kind of did it the way that she did it. I loved having this, and so I just hoarded a whole bunch of this. You can't get it anymore. And I'm going to use both of these pieces, and I want to do the camera paper at the bottom and then this jade colored paper at the kind of at the top, and we're going to layer some of this together. And then on the side of my layout you see that I have a camera stamp, and then I have some chipboard pieces. The chipboard pieces are from Ali Edwards. The camera stamp was from Stampin' Up! Many years ago. So these are two photos. They are of Kayla and Violet's last day of school. So it was Kayla's last day of her freshman year and Violet's last day of her 7th grade year. Andrew is not photographed. I do not have a photo of him because we had some issues at the end of school last year with him, and he actually did not attend the very 2 last days of school, and so I never got a photo of him for the last day of school, and it's totally fine. You know, I have just come to accept in life I don't always get all of the photos that I want, and it's totally okay. I take enough photos and I'm totally okay with it. Like 5 years ago, I would have been devastated that this happened, and now I'm just like, it's totally fine. It's not a big deal. I decided to trim those two photos down to 3x4, and then I'm gonna mat those photos eventually. And that's just the way they fit best on here. I wanted to utilize the back of that calendar page just because I had the space and I didn't really have any memorabilia or anything that I wanted to keep in the back of that calendar spot, and so this just worked out really well. So I am going to use the stamp to create my own embellishment. I will end up not using that Just Love This. That'll be a piece I end up not using. I'm going to attach this piece here first. That's going to go flat down. And then I will attach the camera piece, and then we'll use that camera to make some embellishments. Now, I think this is actually the only wood stamp that I have left, the wood mounted stamp. And I actually use it as a display item in my craft room because I love cameras, and my craft room is decorated with cameras. And so I actually use that as a display item, and I just happened to see it sitting on my shelf, and I thought, why don't I use that to make a really cute camera embellishment? And I really encourage you to use your stamps to do this. I know sometimes we forget that we can do that, but you're gonna see in just a second how I do that. So I mounted the photos with some pink cardstock, and then this white piece here, that's where my journaling is going to be. And eventually what I will do is my journaling on the computer, I will print that on sticker paper, and then I will add it directly to that white piece, and then it will look like I just printed it right on that piece. And that's oftentimes what I will do. So here I am going to add a little bit of pink. I was just wanting a few other layers, and so that's what I will do. And I didn't have very much of this pink cardstock. I have a really hard time finding pink cardstock that I like. Either it's too bright, or, you know, I really just want like a dusty pink color. and none of the pinks that I really have gotten recently, cardstock wise, work. I have a couple stamp pads that I really like. One is from Concord and Ninth, and one is from Close to My Heart, and I like those shades. So I think I'm gonna have to pick up some cardstock from those companies. So here, I'm just going to arrange things how I think they're going to be. I like to do that before gluing anything down, just so that I can continue to move things around. I have a chipboard piece that says last day of school, which is perfect. And then the pink circle says in this season, I believe. So I'm going to take some of this pink cardstock. I'm going to stamp this camera twice. I'm using VersaFine ink, and I'm going to pick that stamp pad up and I'm going to press it down. The VersaFine is a felt pad, and so that's just different than your like Stampin' Up. We have foam ink pads instead of like a felt, and so it's a little bit different. So with these types of ink pads, if it's a large area, I like to turn my stamp over and press the ink pad. So what I'm doing is just seeing if I can get a better image. So I stamped it a couple times. I'm going to cut it out. I felt like that was a little bit better. So I'm going to fussy cut this out of the pink. And then where I stamped it on that pattern piece, you're going to see that I'm going to cut a couple of the areas out. And then I'm going to layer them together to create an embellishment. I recently got a question on, like a comment was left on one of my videos about making project life cards. And I don't typically make my own project life cards. I used to, in older videos I used to actually create my weekly date card every single week. And I would get really elaborate, and I would stamp and do the numbers, and it just was like a big process. What I have found in my particular case with my project life album, and also because I'm doing so many projects, this is my full-time job, and so I am doing a lot of projects. My main goal is to keep caught up with my project life family album. And I like to do traditional pages, and you see this is a traditional page that I'm doing. But I also want to be able to keep up with the project and the process. And so I don't tend to make my own project life cards, because also I have hundreds of them. I have multiple duplicate core kits, and I have hundreds of thousands of project life cards. Basically, that's what it comes down to. So I don't necessarily feel the need to make those. While you can with all the supplies, you definitely can do that. What I tend to focus on, if I'm going to make something, it's usually going to be a traditional page like this. However, any of these elements that you see me doing on a traditional page, you can adapt those definitely to a project lifestyle card. You could take a camera like this and cut it out and layer it up. You could cut a camera out on your Cricut, on your Silhouette, on your brother's Scan and Cut. You could print one and cut it. I mean, there's 100 different ways that you could do some of these things and then create a project life card with it. So whatever it is that you are wanting to do, if it's a project life card, if it is a more of a traditional page, just think about the ideas that I'm showing you and how you can adapt them to how you're crafting or what you're wanting to put together or what's important to you. I want to find a way to not only stay caught up with my family album, my Project Life Family album. I want that completed by the end of the year. And I've done this now since 2006. I have albums every year completed, and they're basically finished by the end of the year, and I start fresh the new one. And how I do that is I determine what are the most important pieces to me, what can I compromise on or figure out a way that I can do things quickly. And still that went flying. It stuck right to my hand and then flew across my desk. So what are the aspects that I can keep simple, and what are the aspects that I can still keep creative so that I still love doing it? And so that is my advice about making Project Life cards, or, creating those elements. I'm going to take a blend marker. It is a Petal Pink blend marker, which is an alcohol marker that is retired. It's from Stampin' Up! And I'm just going to add a little bit more detail to that camera. And then I will bring it back over to my layout and add that directly to my layout, which I really love the way that that came out. And then you can also see that I try to use all of my product. Like I'm using chipboard pieces on this layout. Those chipboard pieces, I also use Project Lifestyle in my different layouts as well. So I just want to encourage you. A lot of times I hear from people that it's really difficult to keep up on a project like this, or they don't have the time, or you know, people will say to me, that's so wonderful that you do that, but I just don't have the time. And my answer to that is always, you totally have the time. You just have to pick the things that are important to you. It's really important to me to have traditional pages because I love scrapbooking. I love memory keeping. But it's also important for me to have an album that's finished at the end of the year. So I can't make every single layout a traditional scrapbook page. I have to incorporate pocketed scrapbooking into my process. And it is in finding a process that works and systems that work for you that you'll be able to keep up on a project like this. So I'm going to add those in the center. The photo of Kayla is a little bit crooked. And then Violet's the same. It's a little bit tilted. I sometimes have a hard time adding my photos like that. But this turned out really, really well. I really like the way that this came out. I add that chipboard piece that says celebrating that. I add a little bit of foam to my camera. I will add that. And then we'll just glue all the pieces down. If you're interested in the foam I use, that is in my Amazon storefront. It's linked in my description below. You can click on that. And all of the products that I use that I purchase on Amazon are nicely organized there for you. They are affiliate links, but it doesn't cost you any more to use those links. And it's really pennies that I get from it. It's just a way for me to organize things for you to be able to find them easily. And then if you like projects like this, I would really love for you to join our Life Simply Documented group. It is $14.99 a month. I do exclusive projects in that group. We're working on stories of home. I just shared that this weekend with them. And I would love for you to join. We just have a really fun community of ladies that love memory keeping and love to do this. And it is also a place for me to personally help you. So if there's projects that you're working on and you need one-on-one help or personal help, that is what I'm in that group to do. And that is always fun to work on. So I'm just going to add a few of these rhinestones. They were in my stash. I used them on the camera, but I just wanted to sprinkle a couple of them on the page and just use them. I just love using up my product and they were out, so that's what I did. So I hope you enjoyed this layout and this project. You can find photos over on my website. There are 2 other projects here on the screen that you can check out. I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up so YouTube will be kind to me. You can also consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't, and I will be back later this week with other projects, and I do have some card projects coming up for you guys in the near future. Have a great day, everyone.